What's going on, everyone? So, the Lakers recently brought in Jordan Goodwin on a training camp invite. Now, here's the thing. The Lakers don't have any roster spots. Like, Jordan Goodwin makes a ton of sense for the Lakers because the dude is like an 8-rebound-a-game guy at the guard position. He can give you that point of attack defense, gives you a different change of pace from a D'Lo and Austin Reeves. Like, I don't hate the idea of Jordan Goodwin on the Lakers if we didn't have the roster that we have right now, right? Like, we need a big man more than we need another guard. I mean, you got D'Lo, Reeves, you got Max Christie, Dalton Connect can slide over to the two. You got Gabe Vincent, you got Jalen Hood-Schifino. I mean, Bronny James, worst case scenario, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but you get my point. Like, we're last thing we need is guards. We're flushed at the guard position. I mean, Cam Reddish can even slide over and play the two if you needed him to, right? So it's just like, where and why would you bring in another guard? Now, my immediate thought is this is just for training camp to push D'Lo and Austin Reeves, right? Because he is a good rebounder. He is a guy that can get into the body and play some defense and is going to work hard and play hard and hustle hard. So, when D'Lo and Reeves and these guys are bringing the ball up the court, you got somebody that's going to really get into you and try hard to kind of slow you down, right? And then also be a big problem that the Lakers had last year and giving up offensive rebounds, giving up long ball rebounds, all of those things, because Goodwin's just going to track that down and go get that basketball, right? So to me, it makes sense training camp wise, because JJ wants to have the highest level of competition possible. He wants these guys working, grinding, and going at it, right? So if that's the case, then yeah, Jordan Goodwin does make a lot of sense in that regard. But here's kind of the other side of that. I have said that I think, I don't know, it's just a guess, as we move closer to training camp, right, I think it's more likely something gets done. I think a lot of these asking prices are going to go down because you have teams like Portland, for example. Let's stick with Portland and use Portland as an example because I do think Jeremy Grant is probably the most likely, but Portland, right, with Jeremy Grant. If you were to go and trade for Jeremy Grant right now, it's 2 firsts. As we get closer to training camp, I do see a team like Portland going, like, do we really want Jeremy Grant going into training camp? Do we really want him taken away from our young guys, right? Probably not. Okay, so we'll do it for 1 protected first, right? Boom, now the Lakers pull off that deal. If they were to make a move like that, based on the reports that have came out, it is Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and Cam Reddish, right? Those are the 3 that are going out for Jeremy Grant, right? So now you would need at least 1 player to fill the gap, right? You would need 1 player to kind of fill in because you'd be at what? You'd be at 13 guys, right? So now, because you lost Gabe Vincent, Jordan Goodwin makes a ton of sense. Now, he's not a great 3-point shooter, which is the problem, right? He's 31% for his career from 3-point range. So he's not a guy that you can look at and count on shooting the 3 ball, but excellent helping with the rebounding, right? He's got similar size to Gabe Vincent. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, right? So he's a guy that'll give you that defense, give you that point of attack, slot him alongside D'Lo, slot him alongside Austin Reeves. But the rebounding and defense would be big for the Lakers, right? That's a guy that can really get into it on those sides. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to make the hustle plays. You need guys like that. You need the guys that are willing to do the dirty work, right? And especially if you now have a hole at the guard position. Right? Because now you need somebody to replace Gabe Vincent. Now, you could have Jalen Hood-Schifino, but what if Jalen Hood-Schifino isn't ready yet? Right? He's still recovering from injuries and stuff like that. What does he look like when he gets back? Are the Lakers patient with him? Jordan Goodwin at that point may make a ton of sense for the Lakers, right? So to me, this may signal, again, just a tinfoil hat on, right? Like, let's throw it on for a second. It's just odd that you would bring in a guy, like, it's not just some young guy you want to get a look at, right? Like, Jordan Goodwin's young. He's 25, right? He's not 30, but he's a guy that makes sense on the Lakers roster if you didn't have Gabe Vincent, right? Or if you didn't have some guard, if you had a position of need at the guard position, he would make sense. But you don't have a need at the guard position. You are basically 1 through 15 guaranteed, or not basically, you are, right? So the Lakers would have to do a salary dump to bring him in. So unless it really is just strictly for competition's sake in training camp, the other logical reason would be that the Lakers are cooking something up on the trade front, or cooking something up on the trade market, and chances are it's going to be a 3 for 1 swap or a 2 for 1 swap. And now you might have a need at the guard position where Jordan Goodwin now makes a lot of sense to come in. Right? Even if you're making a trade for, say, a Cam Johnson, you're probably unloading 2 guys. If you're making a trade for, Wendell Carter Jr., right? Or maybe you're doing multiple trades, right? What if the Lakers do end up doing something where they go get Jeremy Grant and they get like a Bruce Brown or something? Well, you still have that vacancy for Gabe Vincent, right? If the Lakers end up trading D'Lo or Gabe Vincent, one of the two, also you got to keep in mind, the Lakers probably trade D'Lo at some point. Right? Because he's an expiring contract. And do they really want to lose him for nothing? Now, there are a lot of free agents that are available. There are a lot of free agents next offseason that would be great for the Lakers. But how many of those guys are actually there? Because a couple things. One, a lot of those guys are probably going to sign new contracts or extensions. 2, with the new CBA, teams are allowed to negotiate with their free agents early. So a lot of those guys that may end up being available may end up just being taken off the market before the offseason even starts, right? Because there is an argument to just let D'Lo fall off. LeBron James can opt out, right? You have all these like little, you have Gabe Vincent, or not Gabe Vincent. You'd have Gabe Vincent and Rui on expiring deals, but then you'd have, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, Cam Reddish, all dropping off. I mean, you could clear between LeBron, D'Lo, and a bunch of, vet minimum guys and stuff. Like you could clear like $70 million, right? If there's a guy that makes sense that wants to come, he can come, and LeBron could just restructure his contract, right? So it's like, hey, LeBron, we need you to take $30 million less, and we go get this guy. Like, okay, fine. I mean, he was willing to do it this past season. Why wouldn't he do it next offseason, right? So he may just go, okay, fine. I'll just take, give me $30 million here. Give me what's left. Go get him, and then give me what's left, whoever that may be. Or, maybe it's a Steph trade or something like that. And it's like, well, now you're under the first apron. Now you got all this salary cap, right? So now you can go in and take on a little bit of Steph's salary and give up, a Gabe Vincent and a Rui who are on expiring. So that way, Golden State isn't taking back a bunch of salary long-term and all that stuff. Again, just kind of spiraling through like what potential could be, right? But I do think that they're probably going to trade D'Lo at some point if they can, and very possible Gabe Vincent, Rui, and some of these other guys. So even if it doesn't happen right now, it's still good to kind of see and gauge, like, how does Jordan Goodwin look? Right? Is he a guy that makes sense with the other pieces we have? Like, what does he look like alongside Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis? Right? Because if we do trade D'Lo and we do trade Gabe Vincent, right? Like, this also feels like it could be just a part of doing due diligence, right? For a potential trade. Again, maybe not before the season begins, but even around the trade deadline. If you unload some of these guys, maybe Portland isn't willing to drop the price right now, but once we get to like January, maybe they're like, all right, fine. Like, we just want to get off of him, right? Like, it's just not working. Things aren't going the way we wanted to. Fine. Just give us a first. And there you go. Right? So now it's like, okay, well, now we need a guard. Hey, Jordan, remember how you were working out? It's time to go. And they're telling Jordan, like, hey, stay ready. Keep working out. Keep conditioning. Work on your three-point shot, right? Like, do not let up on the three. Keep working hard on your three-point shot, because you could be getting a phone call at any point. Right? At any time, you could be getting a phone call if we're able to pull something off. Right? It's just, that's kind of what this feels like to me. Kind of feels like a guy that, because again, it's not a young guy that you're like, let's kind of see, like, is he worth anything? And you're not waiving any of your two-way guys. You're not getting rid of Blake Henson, Armel Traore, or Colin Castleton for Jordan Goodwin. Right? I mean, Armel Traore may end up being the best young guy we have. I mean, he's incredibly young. His size, his length, his versatility, his ability to essentially do everything. Like, you're not letting go of that guy. Blake Hinson fills a need that we have immediately, right? In three-point shooting and just size, right? So he's a guy that can plug in immediately. Yeah, it's probably not going to be this year, but next year you may end up having a spot that you need to fill, and he would make a ton of sense with that. Colin Castleton, are you really going to waive him before you actually give him the opportunity to see what he can maybe do? Right? I don't see that necessarily being the case. So I think either A, Jordan Goodwin is strictly just a training camp. We just want competition. We're trying to build competition here. And Jordan Goodwin is a guy that can help with that competition, help getting at D'Lo, getting at Austin Reeves, getting at Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, all our guards, and do the hustle work, do the dirty work, and kind of fills what the Lakers' issue was last season. So, Lakers have to figure out how to defend and play against that. Or it is that the Lakers are working on a trade. Right? A lot of people say Lakers move in silence. Now, not all their moves have been silent, but they have had a couple, like Rui came out of left field, right? There are moves, like even the D'Lo thing, right? The Utah Jazz trade was rumored for like a year, but not the D'Lo part of it. Like D'Lo came out of left field. So there are a couple things that have kind of happened just randomly. The Lakers may be doing some work behind the scenes, and that's why they're bringing in Jordan Goodwin to kind of get a see and a look of, hey, how does he look, right? He may be a guy that may end up needing to fill a position of need. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, hey, maybe this is a real possibility? You think, no, Jordan Goodwin, just training camp invite. That's all there is to it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just he's a guy that's just to put pressure on D'Lo and Reeves, stuff like that, because JJ wants to have a hard, just difficult training camp, right? He wants training camp to be like the games, to where hey, training camp, the games are nothing compared to training camp. The games are nothing compared to practice, right? There's a lot of talk and emphasis on practice. So Jordan Goodwin does make a lot of sense in that regard. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.